I don't think we've made one thing smoothly yet today, have we, Jack?
I mean, I made my toast pretty smoothly this
I
morning.
meant like on camera.
This is so fun.
Need add tunny. Blah, blah. Hey y'all, hey, Erica with TimetoShrink. I'm back with a traditional keto meal prep. It's been a little while. Last week my kids took over my channel. I will link that playlist up above. It was a lot of fun. They did all of the planning. They did the shopping, well, online order groceries. They made all the meals. They did keto meal prep. It was really, really fun. So go check that out. But today we are just going to jump into a regular meal prep starring me. Aw, did you miss me? All right, y'all, let me show you what we got and tell you what we're going to make. We are going to make a big Instant Pot marinara sauce, and then we will freeze them in smaller portions. So I've got a bunch of tomatoes crushed, peeled, tomato paste. We're going to put some onions, some garlic, some bay leaves, some Italian spices. So we're going to make a ton of this. I love to be able to make a lot and freeze it. We are going to make some keto biscuits and some keto bread mix. These biscuits are so delicious, y'all. 2 net carbs a biscuit. We are going to turn them into a breakfast biscuit. So we're going to put sausage and bacon and cheese in there and make a breakfast biscuit out of it. And then I have never made this before. This brand did send me, I paid for the biscuit mix, but they sent me this keto bread mix to try. It says 2 net carbs per slice. So we're going to try our hand at making some bread. As always, we do egg casseroles and almost always do bacon. So I do my bacon in the oven, so we'll make that. And we're going to make an egg casserole. And then I've got a bunch of chicken here thawing. We're going to do some marinades on some chicken. And then this is just a bunch of lunch meat, y'all. And we're going to do kind of like lunch meat roll-up style for everybody to eat on. Like Italian style as ham and salami and pepperoni. I think that'll be really, really good. I actually did that the other week and everybody really liked it. And then I never really have a plan when I do my marinades, so I kind of just get out everything I think I might use, and I open my spice cabinet, which needs to be organized. It is a mess, y'all. It is packed behind here. But I kind of just like look through and see what sounds good, what I feel like making, and then I make a bunch of marinades at a time is what I typically do. So that is our plan for this week. Let's get going. All right, y'all, throwing on the apron. You know I mean business now, right? Don't want to get my nice, cute clothes all splattered up. Y'all, I have not worn real clothes in quite a while. Now, I don't know if this counts because they're leggings, but they're not pajama pants, so I'm counting it. Pajama pants, bra, makeup, serious business. All right, one of the first things we always do is our bacon. I start it in a cold oven, so I'm going to put this on some cookie sheets, and then I also have some ground sausage. We're going to go ahead and make that. Neither are things that you really need to see us do, so we'll be back in a minute. Since I had 2 things of bacon, y'all, I have decided that one of them I'm going to spice. I really, really enjoy like a sweet, spicy bacon sometimes. So I'm going to do half of it with Sunrise Cowgirl from Fresh Jack's and half of it with Rosy Cheeks. These are 2 of my favorite like barbecue type marinades. So I've got Jack back there making that sausage, and I am going to get this bacon going and put it in a cold oven at 400 degrees. When I add spices or anything to bacon, I usually do a thick cut bacon. So this is thick cut. I'm going to use this Fresh Jack's Rosy Cheeks, which I am almost completely out of, y'all. I'm probably going to finish it off here. But this has a little bit of sweetness in it because it does have some brown sugar. I think that'll be perfect. And then because I did not have enough of that, I'm going to use my second favorite of the barbecue spice rubs, Sunrise Cowgirl Coffee Rub. I think that's going to be amazing on bacon. Oh, that was a lot. I wish y'all could smell this. And I'm just going to go over it with my hands and kind of press it down in a little bit. And then bake it just like normal. Like I said, 400 degrees until it's finished. And this will be so yummy. So yummy. I could flip it over and do both sides, but I'm going to do it the lazy girl way and just do one side. All right, y'all, we are going to make a batch of marinara. I love to make a huge batch of marinara sauce in my Instant Pot, and then I freeze it. So that's what we're gonna do. I've got tons of cans of crushed and whole tomatoes. We've got some onion, we've got some garlic, we've got some Parmesan and some seasonings. I'm gonna show you how I do it. It's super, super simple, and the Instant Pot just does all the work for you. I used to do it on the stovetop, and it would take hours and hours, and now it's just dump and leave it and forget it. So I love, love, love my Instant Pot if you didn't already know. I have my Instant Pot set on the saute function, and I just put a good couple glugs of olive oil. I do use olive oil because it helps flavor my sauce. I'm going to use 2 onions. These were really small. They're just in big chunks. It doesn't matter because in the end we're going to use an immersion blender, so it really doesn't matter. So the first thing we do is I just let this saute just until it starts to get a little bit tender. But because we're pressure cooking this, there is no need to cook these all the way down. The pressure cooker will take care of that. So we're just gonna kind of let them soften for a bit. And if you wanted a chunkier marinara sauce, you may wanna cut your onions smaller. But in the end, we're gonna use an immersion blender, so I just did big chunks. You do not want your garlic to burn, so this is to the point where I'm gonna start adding. I'm gonna add in 12 ounces of tomato paste, 2 small cans of tomato paste, and we're gonna cook that just a little bit. I like to cook off the rawness of the tomato paste. I usually cook it down with the onion for about a minute or 2. Probably could skip this step since it's in a pressure cooker, but I'm just used to doing it. So I'm gonna cook down that tomato paste for a few, and then we will get to building our marinara. So what I usually do is put whole tomatoes in here, but there's all these limits right now with the pandemic. So I did some crushed tomatoes and some whole peeled tomatoes. But again, we're going to use an immersion blender in the end, so it does not matter. I like to take a Parmesan cheese rind and put it right in. I think it gives it a lot of flavor, and we'll fish that out in the end. Another thing that I add is some Italian seasoning. My marinara sauce recipe is in my cookbook, y'all. I like to add this Fresh Jack salt-free Italian herb blend. It is the freshest tasting herb blend for Italian that I have ever used. I swear it tastes so different than the ones that I just normally get at the grocery store. So I do about 2 tablespoons or so of that. And then remember, we have that onion and garlic in here already. And then we're gonna add some bay leaves. I usually add a couple of bay leaves. Again, we'll fish these out in the end. You can fill your Instant Pot up to the max fill button, which is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna add probably 2 more cans of tomatoes here. And then we will get the lid on this. This step is completely optional, but we like to put just a few red crushed peppers just to give it a little bit of a spicy kick. You can 100% not do that if you don't like any spice to your tomato sauce. But the little amount that I did just gives it a tiny kick. It doesn't give it a lot of spice. What you're gonna do now, put your lid on, set it on top to sealing. You always wanna make sure it's to sealing. And then we're gonna go to the front, take it off of saute, and then hit manual. And then we're gonna do 90 minutes. So we will check it again in about 90 minutes. So the next thing we're gonna do is get this bread going. This low carb company makes lots of really great things, y'all. Biscuits, bread mixes, granola, different flavor granolas that we've really liked. We've been really happy with everything that's come from them. So let's flip this around and look at the directions real quick. So how to bake. You'll need 2 eggs, which of course I forgot to get out. I never have everything I think I need. 2 eggs, 1½ teaspoons of honey, 1/8 cup of melted butter. The honey activates the yeast, it says, and it will disappear in the rising process. Basically, the yeast eats the honey is how you get it to rise. So let's look at ingredients real quick. Here's where we have a little bit of a hiccup. If you are trying to be very true anti-inflammatory keto, this does have wheat gluten in it, which is technically not really all that great for keto because it does cause some inflammation. But for every once in a while for a treat, I'm okay with it. I wouldn't eat this every day, but I'm actually super excited to try it. So we have wheat gluten, flaxseed meal, erythritol, monk fruit, oat fiber, active dry yeast, salt, and xanthan gum. Basically, we're just gonna follow the instructions and make it, y'all, but it does say that you have to knead it for 15 minutes. So we are gonna use the handy dandy KitchenAid and let the KitchenAid do the kneading. Basically, this is just a dump recipe, even though it's bread. So that's pretty cool. It says to put your 2 eggs right into your mixer, a cup of water, 1/8 cup of melted butter, otherwise known as 2 tablespoons, y'all. Like, why did they not just say 2 tablespoons? I'm not really sure. And then we're supposed to mix that with the bread. You know what? I think we're gonna mix that first. Let's get our eggs and butter mixed a little bit, and then we'll add our bread mixture into that. I just wanted to get that slightly mixed. Okay, bread mixture going in, and now we're supposed to kind of get that mixed together. Now we're gonna add our honey, and I'm gonna use a spatula so I get all of it in there, y'all. I haven't had honey in so long, y'all. This is local honey from like half a mile from our house. It smells so good. I always have honey around for the kids. So I'm just going to gently mix this honey in with this spatula, and then we're going to read the directions again in case we're missing anything. This seems really wet. I don't know. I used to love to make bread, y'all. I always tell y'all I'm not a baker, and I'm not, but for some reason bread dough used to be my thing. I used to make bread all the time, but it has been years. It's been years. So I think, let's read our directions real quick. Add honey, knead contents for 15 minutes or until dough is properly formed. They don't really tell you what properly formed is, so I guess we're just supposed to guess on that one. And then we are going to shape it into a loaf, let it sit for 6 hours. Woo, 6 hours, y'all. That is a long rise, or until loaf significantly grows in size. It's hot in our house, so it should be fine. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bread hook on, and we're going to let the bread hook do its thing, because I'm lazy. All right, y'all, while this bread is doing its thing in the background, we're going to go ahead and marinate the chicken so I can get it back into the refrigerator. I pulled out a recipe for marinades from my cookbook. My cookbook is called My Southern Keto Kitchen. It is chock full of all kinds of keto family-friendly recipes. Your family does not have to be on keto to enjoy these recipes. And one of the things in it is a bunch of different marinades, and we're going to use some of those today. So one of my sweet subscribers laminated my cookbook for me because it is an ebook. She laminated all the pages and mailed it to me, and I had not done that myself, and I was just so grateful. It was so sweet of her. All right, let's jump into making some marinades, y'all. So in the very back of my cookbook, I have some different ideas for marinating chicken and pork. I've got 2 pages of it. So we're going to use some of these, but what I wanted to show you was you could zero in on one of these and just use the ratios and change the spices or the oils and make so many different combinations. So one of those we're going to do today is something my son had done. He took this Bold Bayou, so screenshot that if you're interested. What we're going to do today is take the recipe, the basic recipe, use the ratio of the avocado oil to the lemon juice to the salt, but we are going to change up the seasoning and it'll have a completely different flavor. So I just wanted to show you how you can use that one marinade recipe and do tons of different things. So I've got about 2 pounds of chicken right here. This is just chicken tenders. It could be pork chops. It could be whatever you want to marinate. And I like to use this. I will link it down below because this is the handiest little thing. It's a measure and pour. It has milliliters, ounces, teaspoons, tablespoons, like all those measurements. So for this one, we're going to take 3 ounces of avocado oil is the first thing. So you're going to go to where you can see your ounces, and then you're just going to pour your avocado oil in there, which I am low on, y'all. The girl needs to go shopping. All right, 3 ounces of avocado oil. We're going to dump. The next thing we're going to do is lemon juice, and we're going to... Lemon juice is not open. Y'all, I cannot open this, Jack. Okay, Jack's going to put the camera down and see if he can open this lemon juice for me. It's like it's not unscrewing. It's trying to unscrew as a whole, but it's not unperforating, you see? Y'all, I totally forgot my bacon. It got really, really crispy. It's going to be fine. We'll use this crispier bacon in our casseroles. It's going to be fine, but I almost forgot. I threw it down here, knocked over a huge glass of water, so I've got this huge mess over here. All the while, we still cannot open our lemon juice. Oh my gosh, y'all. 20 minutes later, we're still trying to get the top off of this stupid thing. It will not come off. Hold on. He got it! Yay!
It looks like the thread on the inside of the cap is bad.
Oh well. All right, back to marinating. This is my favorite kind of splurge purchase, this Italian volcanic lemon juice. It's 100% organic lemon juice, 40 lemons in a bottle. I love this stuff, y'all. It's great for marinating, great for making drinks, great for just drinking lemon water. So there's an ounce of that. We're going to go in with an ounce of lemon juice. Now it asks for a teaspoon of salt. Fresh Jack's has a line of different sea salts. Some of them are spicy, some of them not. So we're going to do about a teaspoon of this sriracha hot salt. Next is a tablespoon of whatever spice you want to use. We are going to use this Smoky Southwest, which is one of my favorite Fresh Jack's blends. So about a tablespoon of that. You can measure if you want to. I'm just not feeling it today. And then that is it. So the next thing you do is you just close your Ziploc bag up and you squish. Squish, 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 mush it all around. When you're done, if you want to use it later that day or the next day, you can just put it in the refrigerator. One of the things I like to do is do a ton at one time. And then when it's all mushed together, I try and let out as much air as possible, get that sealed well, and then I make it flat as possible. That's going to do a couple things for you. One, it is going to make sure the marinade is all over every piece without having to use a ton of oil and vinegar. You don't want to waste your ingredients, right? And two, if you freeze it flat like this, it will thaw so quickly for you. Things thaw according to the surface area. If you have more surface area, right, it's going to thaw quicker. If you have your chicken all bunched up in the bottom like this and throw it in the freezer like that, one, it's going to take up a lot more space in your freezer. Two, it is going to take more than twice as long to thaw. Like, it takes hours to thaw a big brick, where when it's flat like this, it literally thaws in like an hour. You can totally take this out of your freezer, put it on your counter, an hour or two later, go ahead and throw it on the grill or the air fryer or bake it or whatever you want to do with it. So that's why I always freeze like this, and make sure if you're going to throw it in your freezer, you label it, because you think you're going to remember what it is, but you won't. All right, moving on. All right, y'all, a girl cannot follow her own recipe. I am all over the place today. So I also needed an ounce of apple cider vinegar. My ratio is 3 ounces of oil to 2 ounces of acid, basically. So I did an ounce of apple cider and an ounce of lemon juice in this one. But that's my little ratio, y'all. Okay, so back to smushing, and then we'll move on to the next one. I'm glad I remembered. I mean, it wouldn't have been the end of the world, but you definitely want a good amount of acid to help really marinate your chicken. Okay, next up, we are going to do kind of like an Italian seasoned, a little bit garlic and herb. What I'm going to do with this one is same 3 ounces of olive oil. You can do olive oil or avocado oil. I'm running low on avocado oil, so we're going for some olive oil today. In the bag, Erica, in the bag. All right, now I'm going to go in with 2 ounces of vinegar. So this is actually sherry cooking wine, not vinegar. It works as an acid for this purpose. And then I am going to go in, this is the herbs that I'm planning to use this time, Fresh Jack's garlic and herb, again, about a tablespoon. And then I'm also just going to add a little bit of, this is just some chopped onion. I'm just going to add a little bit of that, a little bit more of that, just for some more onion flavor. When you're marinating, y'all, you always want to have a decent amount of salt. So I just do a few pinches of salt. Again, you could do any of the Fresh Jack's flavored salts as well, and then just pepper to taste. So same thing, I kind of fold it over as much as I can to get the air out, and then we squish it all around, flatten it out. And truthfully, what I usually do, and I didn't do it today because today I'm a hot mess in the kitchen, is I write with a Sharpie what is going to be in here before I fill it, because it's much easier to write on it when it's not full. So I highly recommend writing the date and what's in it before you fill your bag, but we're a little bit of Hot Mess Express today, so we're going to try and write on it like this. I just took the bacon out of the oven. It is nice and finished, and now I'm just going to go ahead and get the eggs going. I took the temperature of the oven down to 350, and I typically do 8 to 12 eggs depending on what we have, and today we're going to go with 12. So like I always say, egg casserole is using usually things that we have left from the week before. One of the things we have left is a lot of feta cheese. So I was going to do feta and spinach, but I'm out of spinach. I always have frozen spinach, don't have any. So today we're going to do feta and sausage. And do you want bacon in it?
Yeah, sure.
Feta and sausage. I probably should have done the eggs before I put the feta cheese in, y'all. This is my new favorite thing ever. Look at that, y'all. This is such a cool whisker. I totally should not have put the feta in yet, but such much is life. I really am a hot mess today, y'all.
I love how this thing works, y'all. You literally just push it. I will totally link it below. It was not expensive. I actually bought one for one of y'all. When I hit 15,000 viewers, we're going to have 15,000 subscribers. We're going to have a big giveaway, and this is one of the things that will be in it. That's all things that I love is what will be in it. Okay, look at that. All whipped. The little things make me excited, y'all. I put some heavy whipping cream in there already. Jack decided he wanted to try the Sunrise Cowgirl coffee rub in here. So we're just gonna, it smells like breakfast. It really does. So we're gonna add that.
Okay, I'm gonna take half a pound of sausage. We're gonna use the other half a pound in our breakfast biscuits. So taking about half of that. And then I've just got some bacon straight out of the oven. I'm gonna crumble it up in here. And then I gotta get all this off my hands, and then we'll pour this into a Pyrex. All right, so got my eggs and my sausage and my bacon and my Pyrex, and that's gonna be breakfast casserole for this week. 350 degrees. It usually takes 25 minutes or so. I've been known to forget my egg casserole, so sometimes it goes a little longer. We might should do a timer today because, you know, I've been hot mess express, Jack. All right, y'all, I'm going to let this KitchenAid just go and go and go, and this dough still seems really, really sticky to me. So I'm going to try and put it out on this and knead it by hand for a few minutes. I don't understand, y'all. Like, how are you supposed to knead this? I used exactly what it said. My measurements were exactly what it called for. There's none left in the container. There's no kneadability to this. You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna put it back in the bowl and let it sit for 6 hours and see what it looks like. I mean, I can't knead this. It's not kneadable. I kneaded it with the dough hook for 10 minutes, and it's just a wet, gooey mess. So their instructions are very, very unclear. So love this company. I will be emailing them and telling them they need to write better instructions because it says until properly formed. Knead until properly formed. What does that mean? All right, we're just gonna set it in a corner, clean up a little bit, and move on with prep. Maybe later today this will turn into bread, maybe not. I'll let you know. All right, y'all, the next thing we're gonna do is make sandwich roll-ups. We're also gonna make salami and brie bites in the oven. I forgot I was gonna do that, but I have a ton of salami, so we need to not forget that. So I'm gonna put Jack on baking the salami and brie bites, and I'm gonna make the sandwich roll-ups. We're just going to roll individual ones. So I just put 2 pieces of ham, some salami, all of that right on here, and then we can roll it like this. So I'm going to make some plain ones like this, and some I'm going to put pepperoncinis in, and then I'm going to make up a red wine vinegar. All right, I've got Jackson set up on a station over here making these roll-ups, and I've got a ton of salami left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my brie bites, which I have made for y'all recently. But they're so good, and we love them for lunches or snacks, so we're going to make them again. Basically, I just unwrap some brie, I cut it into little squares, and then I take a piece of salami or capicola or prosciutto, anything you want to use, just relatively thin, and I push it into our muffin pans, just like this, and then I put a piece of brie in it. Sometimes I'll also do like some pecans or something. Okay, so I cut my brie into lots of tiny little pieces, and then I just take them and put them right in the middle. You can do it with pepperoni, you can do it with salami, you can do it with this capicola, whatever you want. It works with any of these kind of fatty lunch meat type things. It needs to have a decent amount of fat in it, so when it bakes, the fat kind of renders down like bacon and it makes it a little crispy. So you could do it with plain ham, but you're probably not going to get the same result. 1 thing of brie will make 24 pieces. So 2 things of brie, lots and lots. But we have a big family and this will only last a few days. Everybody loves this. So I'm just putting it in at 350 because that's what this oven's on. I think I usually do it at 400, so I'll probably bump it up. But these only take about 10 minutes. All right. we're gonna put the biscuits together. So we're using that same baking company low carb keto butter biscuit mix. I have used these before to just make regular plain biscuits and they were phenomenal. So we are going to dress them up today with the sausage and the bacon and some cheese, if I can open it. But this one, well, I said there's no way I could Hot Mess Express this one, Jack, but I can't open it. Oh. I got it. All right. So you are going to use water and heavy cream and biscuit mix. That is it, y'all. So how much heavy cream? 8 ounces heavy cream. And then you're going to just dump in your mix. So now I'm just going to mix this up. I'm using my little pastry blender and I'm just going to get this all mixed together. Probably could just use a spoon because there's not like fresh butter that I'm putting in here, but you know. All right, I'm going to take my sausage and some bacon that I crumbled up and throw that in there. I'm going to take just some of this cheese. I'm just going to take a handful. And then I'm going to just form this into biscuits, y'all. You could put these into like muffin cups and make them like muffin cup size biscuits. I think we're just going to freeform them on a thing of parchment paper and we'll see how that works. So this is what we're doing with this, y'all. I'm just trying to make them about even and freeforming them onto here in the size of a biscuit. These are supposed to go in at 350, so I'm just going to take the temperature back down to 350 and we'll be good. All right, these are done. They took about 10 minutes as usual. Set those down. The ones in the top get a little bit extra crispy, but that's fine. And then we have these a little bit less crispy on the edges. Actually, I think I'm going to put these back in and let the top crisp up just a little bit.
Do you care to tell us about your continued misadventures in baking?
Yes, y'all. I just realized that this was supposed to rise in here. Then I threw it in here, and then I remembered that I really should line it with parchment if we want it to come out. And when I pulled it out of here, I just dumped it all on top of my biscuits, y'all. So I've got like little bits of bread dough on my biscuits now. The good news is these biscuits are freaking phenomenal. Bad news, we got to do something with this bread. I really want it to turn out. So I'm going to wash this again and then put some parchment in there. It did not say I needed to line this, but I don't know how this bread is going to come out if we don't. So we're going to try and smooth this out in this bread thing and let it rise for a few hours and see what happens. I don't know if I did something wrong. I've reread the directions a bunch of times and it doesn't seem that I did, but there's no way you could knead this, y'all. I mean, you can tell it's like this just sticky mess, but maybe it's going to taste phenomenal. Maybe we've done everything right. But all aboard the Hot Mess Express today, y'all. Choo choo. All right, y'all. This bread has finally risen for the 6 hours. It did rise quite a lot, actually. So I'm going to put this in. It says that it is going to bake at 350 for 25 minutes. So we're going to bake that right now, and then I will show it to you. So there's our bread. It took exactly 25 minutes. It's nice and brown. So we're going to pull it out and let it cool. It looks like it turned out, y'all. I was really doubtful about this. I've never had any of their products that I didn't love, but the kneading process was very strange. But it looks really good. It smells good. So I'm going to let it cool completely and then we'll try it. All right, y'all. I'm going to throw this in here real quick so it makes the video. Here is the bread. It really, really sank in the middle. But there's what the crumb looks like. And I tasted it and it tastes really good. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I messed it up. I'm sure I did something wrong. I would be willing to retry it. It tastes really good. It has that sweet wheat bread taste, but it really, really fell.
Hey y'all, I almost forgot to end meal prep today because we have been all over the place. We've done so much today other than meal prep. I've just finishing up dinner and realized that I didn't do an ending. So thanks for riding the Hot Mess Express today. And here goes the dog, more Hot Mess Express. The minute we turn it on, she's got to drink her water. Anyways, Thanks for being all aboard the Hot Mess Express today. I am going to finish my mojito, and I did want to show you these biscuits though. Everything's already been put up, but look how huge these are. They're like the size of my hand, but they are delicious. I highly recommend these. All right, bye y'all. Be blessed. Talk to you soon.
Rolling in 3, 2.
Today, in and out of meal prep, we did lots of other stuff too, so it's way into the evening now, and I just realized I didn't end our meal prep because I really wasn't done, but I was done with meal prep, if that makes sense. Anyways, our biscuits came out humongous. I should have probably put them in smaller muffin-sized tins, but they're like the size of my hand. They are delicious. People have already gotten into half of them already. But I hope y'all had fun hanging out with us today in meal prep. I will talk to y'all again really, really soon. Bye, y'all. Be blessed.